You're sitting on your couch, phone in your hand, staring at a blank screen. Every few seconds, you catch yourself opening her chat, hesitating, then closing it again. That little voice in your head is screaming at you to text, to reach out, to fix the gap. But right now, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. The quiet shift is happening, even if you can't see it yet. And in just a moment, I'm going to explain why doing less is actually the most effective move you can make. I'll also reveal two subtle signs you're about to notice that tell you she's thinking about you. Even if she's not saying a word, keep listening because this changes everything about how attraction really works. You feel that tension in your chest when you stop texting her, that emptiness in your mind, that urge to chase. It feels almost unbearable. That's because silence isn't just quiet, it's powerful. It puts the responsibility back where it belongs, honor, and gives you the clarity and control you've been looking for. I'll show you exactly why letting go feels so hard and why that discomfort is the very thing that shifts the dynamics in your favor. Later, you'll understand how the simple act separates men who succeed in love from men who settle for frustration and anxiety. When you chase, you lower your position. Every text you send when she hasn't reached out first, every call you make to check in, every attempt to prove you care just makes her feel less drawn to you. Attraction doesn't thrive when it's forced. When you step back, you're not giving up, you're standing in your power, you're letting her pursue you emotionally, and that's when real connection begins. Most men don't get this because they confuse attention with affection, but you're going to see the difference clearly by the end of this conversation. Let me give you a simple line to remember, something that will anchor you every time that urge hits. Repeat it in your head. My value doesn't depend on a response. Say it now. Say it to yourself. You'll hear it again as we go deeper. This is the backbone of your approach, the spine of every choice you make while you step back. The moment you internalize this, you'll notice something shift inside you, calm, confidence, and clarity replacing the anxiety and uncertainty you've been carrying. Here's the first curiosity loop I promised. In a few minutes, I'm going to explain a subtle mental shift she goes through when you stop reaching out. You might not see it directly, but it's happening, and understanding it will completely change how you approach your relationships. The second curiosity loop is about timing. There's a critical moment after your silence that determines whether she's drawn closer or drifts away. Most men never notice it, and that's why they keep chasing. You're going to learn how to read that invisible line so you never chase needlessly again. Silence is hard because it feels like inaction, like you're giving up something you can't control. But that's the point. Attraction grows when you're not available on demand. Think about it. Every man who gets what he wants in dating isn't desperate, isn't clinging, and isn't constantly asking for validation. They are calm, they are centered, and they operate from a place of high self-respect. That's exactly the energy you need to cultivate right now. When you let go of the need to control her responses, you start to see the truth. Either she's interested enough to come forward or she's not. And in both cases, silence reveals the reality of the connection. Casing lowers your position because it signals insecurity. It communicates without words that your happiness depends on her attention. You don't want to be that. You want to be the man who has his own life, his own rhythm, and his own goals. When she sees that, attraction ignites. The irony is simple. The less you chase, the more magnetic you become. Your presence alone, calm and confident, starts to pull her toward you. You might not understand it immediately, but this is how emotional dynamics work in all successful relationships. It's not about tricks, it's about aligning your behavior with your self worth. Every time you feel the pull to reach out, say to yourself again, my value doesn't depend on a response. Let it sink in. This isn't just a phrase, it's a reminder that your power lies in your composure, not in her approval. Your confidence becomes your silent signal, your quiet strength that speaks louder than any text or call ever could. This is the moment where most men fail. They trade their calm for fleeting control, chasing reactions instead of letting attraction develop naturally. You won't make that mistake because you understand the principle behind stepping back. As you sit with this, notice how difficult it feels. That discomfort is actually a sign you're doing the right thing. Growth never feels comfortable at first. When you embrace the tension instead of trying to escape it, you're building the emotional and mental muscle that makes you irresistible. This is why no contact works, why distance sparks curiosity, and why restraint is more powerful than pursuit. It's not about punishing her, it's about respecting yourself and letting the natural flow of attraction do the work. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happens in her mind during your silence, the subtle cues that show she's thinking of you, and how to respond if she decides to reach out. But for now, the most important thing is to remain grounded. Keep your focus on your own life, your own growth, and your own goals. Let her come to you emotionally. Trust the process, even if it feels invisible. You are not passive, you are strategic. You are not needy, you are strong. You are not desperate, you are composed. And remember, my value doesn't depend on a response. Hit it one more time to anchor yourself. This is where part one naturally pauses. At the point where you've embraced the power of silence, understood the cost of chasing, and repeated your spine line to internalize your position. From here, you'll be ready to dive into the psychology behind stepping back, handling the urge to reach out, and what to focus on in your own life while the quiet shift unfolds. When you step back, something shifts, not just for you, but for her too. The psychology behind this is simple, but most men never understand it. When you stop reaching out, you stop feeling the need for immediate attention, you stop showing urgency, and in doing so, you allow space for her own emotion to emerge. It's like giving air to a fire. When there's too much pressure, the flame chokes, but with the right space, it grows strong and steady. Stepping back isn't about being cold or distant. It's about creating a natural balance that allows her to feel the pull of her own desire instead of being pushed by yours in her mind. Several subtle things begin to happen when you stop texting or calling. First, the absence makes her notice what she was taking for granted. That casual certainty you once provided is gone, replaced by a quiet distance that forces her to reflect. She starts to question, maybe subconsciously, what she feels for you and why your attention mattered. That reflection is a powerful internal shift, one that chasing could never create. Second, your step back establishes a new sense of respect. She sees that you are not available at the drop of a hat, that your life doesn't revolve around her responses, and that instant gratification is not the currency of your time. This is what elevates your position in her eyes. Handling the urge to reach out is the real challenge, and it's where most men fail. The mind will scream, the heart will ache, and you'll feel the pull to text or call just to soothe the discomfort. Here's a practical way to manage it. The first step is recognition. Acknowledge the urge without judgment. Say to yourself, I feel like reaching out, and that's okay. I will not act on it right now. Next, redirect your energy. Pick one action that aligns with your life goals. Go for a walk, hit the gym, work on a project, or reach out to a friend. The moment you replace the urge with purposeful action, you reclaim your power. Finally, breathe and repeat your spine line. My value doesn't depend on a response. Say it once, then again. Let it remind you that your calm, composed presence is worth more than a quick reaction. The truth is, what you focus on daily matters far more than how often you check your phone or wonder what she's doing. Instead of chasing, redirect your energy toward becoming the man who is a fulfilling life outside of her attention. Build your career, strengthen friendships, cultivate hobbies, and refine your health. These are not distractions, they are the core of your magnetic presence. Every time you invest in yourself, you raise your position, and that elevation is felt subconsciously by her, even from a distance. When you step back, you'll notice that the initial tension in your chest gradually transforms. You might still feel the pull, the discomfort, but now it becomes a tool rather than a burden. Every time it surfaces, remind yourself, my value doesn't depend on her response. Let that line be the anchor for your mindset. The more you internalize it, the less reactive you become and the more power you hold in the silent moments. This is the difference between a man who loses himself in anxiety and a man who commands respect through composure. Another practical step is to create small routines that anchor your attention elsewhere. Set times for work, exercise, or social interaction and stick to them. When the urge to text hits, use the routine as your shield. The mind craves activity, so give it something meaningful to focus on. Over time, you'll notice a subtle mental shift. The need to chase decreases naturally, and your presence becomes more intriguing without you doing anything over it. The psychological effect on her is gradual but undeniable. She starts to sense that something has changed, and that change makes her curious. Women notice the difference between a man who is emotionally available at every moment and a man who has boundaries, structure, and self respect. Your silence communicates value without words, and it forces her to confront her own feelings and intents. What you resist doing, texting, calling, checking in, actually triggers reflection and emotional awareness on her part. And that is far more potent than constant contact. It's important to understand that stepping back doesn't mean ignoring everything in life or pretending you don't care. It's about shifting your focus on what matters most, your growth, your goals, and your own happiness. By investing in yourself, you reinforce your spine line again. My value doesn't depend on a response. Say it to yourself whenever doubt creeps in. Repeat it in quiet moments. It will become a subconscious guide, keeping you grounded and aligned with your purpose. As days pass, you'll notice small signs of change. She might reach out, she might reflect silently, or she might stay distant. But the critical thing is that your position remains unchanged. You are no longer chasing, no longer seeking validation, no longer reacting out of fear. You are calm, you are centered, and you are confident. Each time you follow this approach, you reinforce the mindset that makes you magnetic, respected, and in control of your life. Finally, let's repeat the spine line one more time before we move forward. My value doesn't depend on her response. This is the mantra that holds your strategy together, the phrase that anchors your behavior when emotions try to dictate actions. Keep it close, keep it present, and let it remind you that you are in charge of your feelings and your actions. From here, you're ready to move into what happens next, how to respond if she comes back, how to handle it if she doesn't, and the ultimate truth that silence always reveals what's real. But before we get there, absorb this. Stepping back is not weakness, hesitation, or avoidance. It is the art of holding your ground, the power of self respect, and the subtle force that draws genuine connection toward you. If she comes back, the first thing you must do is hold your boundaries firmly. You don't rush back into the old patterns or lower your standards to accommodate her return. Take your time, pace the interactions, and be deliberate with your attention. This isn't about testing her or playing games. It's about showing that you have self respect and won't sacrifice it for temporary comfort. Let her earn your trust and engagement through consistency, respect, and emotional honesty. Your calm presence communicates more than words ever could. Every decision you make now reflects your value, and that value is non negotiable. Repeat to yourself, my value doesn't depend on her response. Say it quietly but firmly because it will guide how you engage moving forward. If she doesn't come back, it's equally important to handle it with dignity. Closure doesn't require drama or desperation, it requires clarity and self respect. Accept the reality of the situation and move forward with your life. This is where many men stumble. They linger, overanalyze, and chase shadows of what could have been. You are different. You understand that silence reveals the truth either way, whether she returns or stays distant. You are in control of your response. You are not defined by her actions, but by your own. You choose to live a life anchored in your standards, your goals, and your growth. Here's the one clear action step you can take today. Commit to your life as if she may never come back. Double down on your routines, your ambitions, your passions, and your health. Focus on creating experiences that bring fulfillment and joy independent of her presence. Each time you do this, you reinforce your position, elevate your confidence, and maintain your emotional independence. She may notice, she may not, but your life is yours first. Let the spine line anchor you here again. My value doesn't depend on her response. Let it remind you that your worth is inherent, not contingent on someone else's choices. Silence at its core is the ultimate revealer, strips away pretense, exposes intentions, and illuminates feelings. Whether she reaches out or stays away, the truth becomes clear without you having to chase or manipulate. It's a mirror of reality, and it shows both parties exactly where they stand. Embrace this clarity, let it guide your decisions, let it free you from the stress of uncertainty and the habit of overcompensating. In every interaction, silence works as a filter, keeping only the genuine connections and revealing what truly matters. Fast forward to a simple summary of everything we've covered. You began by understanding the power of doing less, the strategic use of silence, and the discomfort that signals growth. Then you learn the psychology behind stepping back, why her mind shifts when you stop reaching out, and how to manage the urge to chase. You discovered that your daily focus on your own life and growth builds magnetic presence far stronger than any text or call ever could. Finally, you see the paths forward if she comes back, engage with boundaries and standards. If she doesn't, embrace closure and dignity. The truth of silence never fails, and now you know how to use it with confidence. Let this last spine line settle in. My value doesn't depend on her response. Let it guide every decision, every interaction, every thought. This is not just a phrase, it's a declaration of self respect, a compass for your behavior, and a reminder that your power lies in your composure. Carry it with you in moments of doubt, in moments of tension, and in moments where temptation to chase arises. It will keep you anchored, strong, and grounded in your identity. The takeaway is simple: stop chasing, step back, respect your own life, and watch how the dynamic naturally shifts. Silence is your tool, your ally, your test. It shows the truth, strengthens your position, and makes your presence magnetic without effort. Whether she comes back or she doesn't, you are steady, composed, and unwavering. You are a man who values himself first, who knows his worth, and who commands respect through quiet strength. Now take a deep breath and carry that power forward. Every choice you make from this point is a reflection of self respect and intentional living. Focus on your life, honor your standards, and trust the process. If she returns, you engage with clarity. If she doesn't, you continue with dignity. The lesson is timeless, the principle is unchanging, and your path is yours to walk with calm confidence. And if you want to learn the next level of attraction and understanding how to deepen the connection without losing yourself, make sure to watch the next video. It builds on everything we just covered.